The ogre lifts his mighty warhammer and swings down at you.
Ah! Barbarian, help me!
I can't, I'm sorry, it's not my turn. There's nothing I can do.
You're supposed to be the tank, so... Tank!
Yeah, he's right, actually. There's nothing that he can do about it. It's not his turn. What is even the point of me playing a tank then? To be completely honest, that's a pretty good question. I don't really know. Anyway, does 26 hit? Yep, it does. Hey everyone, welcome to The Grit and Glory, where we learn how to improve the gaming experience. If you like the video, don't forget to like, comment, and of course subscribe. But now, onto the video. Tanking is terrible in D&D. It is just a fact. There's honestly no real reason for the monsters to even target the tanks when they could just go around them straight for the squishy casters in the back. Yes, I totally understand that you get opportunity attacks if you run out of range, right? That is a thing, but that's not going to stop someone from attacking. That just means that you're going to get one little weak hit in before they do. And since these tanks are already delving more into survivability than damage, that one hit that they actually get in is not really going to do much anyway. Sure, there are subclasses and specific builds that can help you do this a little bit better, you know, Cavalier Fighter and the Sentinel feat to lock down enemies, but even these aren't that great, right? Because they still use your reaction to do this, and in D&D, you only get one reaction per round. So you might be able to stop that one orc, but his other 10 buddies are just going to run straight past you.
Sir? Sir, are you listening to me, sir? Sir, I'm talking to you! Sir!
I've seen lots of different homebrew with lots of different ways of trying to get around this terrible tank problem, but they are always hampered by the one reaction per round rule. It really restricts these kinds of builds. It means that the only ones that I've actually seen that have really been able to do anything are where you actually tank on your turn by, you know, attracting aggro from enemies or yanking them away from the squishy casters and towards yourself.
Get over here!
And I know I've been using the term squishy caster or squishy damage dealer quite a lot because that's quite a commonly used term. But the thing is, it really shouldn't be used because there's no such thing as a squishy caster, not if you build them even halfway decent. Pack Tactics has an amazing video on this where he goes through all of the different ways that you can build a caster and not make them squishy. In fact, they're more tanky than most martials.
I am Gandalf, the Way. I train 7 days a week.
Let's just look at the shield spell, for example. Sure, yes, it uses your reaction just like all of the defensive abilities of the martials do, but unlike the martial abilities, this lasts an entire round instead of one measly attack, which means whatever the spellcaster's AC is, you can basically count that as 5 higher almost permanently. And sure, yeah, they might not have as high HP as the martials do, but do you know what they do have? Spells like Polymorph. That's an easy extra 100 HP, almost no effort required. Heck, they can even attract aggro better than the martials can. Spells like Compel Duel and Wall of Force can literally force the enemy to attack them rather than the enemies.
Fight me! Kill me! Fight me!
So not only are the tanks not even given the right tools to do their job, but there's no reason to do the job in the first place because the squishy, high damage dealing utility healer has a higher AC than them and practically the same HP.
I'm stronger, I'm smarter, I'm better, I am better!
So how does Grit and Glory change this? Well, firstly, we change a lot about the combat system, and you can see the full details about that in this video here. But the main thing we'll focus on now is the fact we got rid of the restrictions on reaction. This means that you can have more than one per round, so martials can actually defend against multiple attacks. But we've also done 2 other major changes that fix a lot of the issues we spoke about so far. So what does tanking actually mean? Realistically, what it means is that you're stopping your allies from getting hit, and probably getting hit yourself instead. And how can you do that? Well, firstly, you can discourage enemies from attacking your allies by imposing some kind of negative. You can literally just intercept their attack with your shield or yourself. You can pull them away from your allies and towards yourself. Or you can just straight up block the passage entirely. And on top of that, because of how we've structured the talent trees, you're actually able to build all of this without sacrificing your health. You know, you can actually take a hit and shrug it off like it's no big problem. This means that you're allowed to have those really cool moments without worrying that you might get hit a little too hard.
You want me to put the hammer down?
And that brings me on to my second major change, making squishies actually squishy. So with how we have carefully crafted and continue to construct the talent trees in the system, we've made sure that you can't just be amazing at everything, you know, tanking and utility and damage and healing. You know, unlike D&D, we've not just made spellcasters the best. We've actually made it a little bit balanced. Now, this doesn't mean you can't be a spellcasting tank. You can specialize in that, but that would mean that you're not being a high damage deal spellcaster or a healing or a utility spellcaster. And as a marshal, you don't have to be a tank. You can be a high damage or a high utility marshal. You can kind of do healing a little bit, but not as well as the magical guys, to be completely honest. But the point of this system is to force people to either specialize in one section or generalize across them all and not be as great at one thing, but be pretty decent across the board.
Enough! I am a god, you dull creature, and I will not be bullied by that.
This means that Grit and Glory is amazing for real team collaboration. You know, having a good team comp is always important, right? Because you actually need your other party members. You can't be amazing at everything. So, you know, it kind of plays into the fact that this is a team game after all, right? It's meant to be a group of people working together. And I think that this system really helps with that. So if you do want to play and feel the epic feeling of protecting your fragile friends from dying, or if you even want to be that meek, really fragile but highly destructive DPS, then it's time to play Grit and Glory. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, check out the website in the description below where you'll find details about the Kickstarter that's going live in September, so make sure to back it. And in the meantime, you can check out my Patreon for more exclusive content, or for YouTube content, you can look here.